Hello students, how are you doing? I hope all of you are doing really well. So in today's class students, we are going to continue reading the chapter The Accidental Tourist, written by Bill Bryson. So in the first part students, if you remember, we were discussing how this tourist, the author, he was doing some or other kind of accidents when he was traveling. He has given us enough incidents to let us know that he was not a organized person. He used to do some kind of activities which created a mess around him. So let us continue reading the chapter and find out what happens at the end. So are you excited to know? Okay, so let's begin. My worst experience was when I was writing important thoughts in a notebook. So if you remember, the author has knocked the soft drink onto a sweet lady, onto a lap of a sweet lady sitting beside him. And he also mentioned that this was not the worst experience in his life on an aeroplane. And the worst experience he is going to narrate now. So the worst experience was when he was traveling on an aeroplane and writing some important thoughts in a notebook. And what are the important thoughts? Like buy socks, clutch drinks carefully. So he's also mentioning this. Sucking thoughtfully on the end of my pen as you do. So you can see here that the author, the person is sucking onto a pen, the end of a pen, because maybe this happens when you're thinking. Okay, when you're thinking something, you tend to keep your pen into your mouth and then you suck it. So he was writing some important things into a notebook, and those were that he needs to buy socks, he needs to clutch drinks carefully because that he will knock the drink on someone's lap. And he was sucking thoughtfully on the end of the pen. And he fell into a conversation with an attractive young lady in the next seat. So while he was writing the thoughts into his notebook, he also fell into conversation. Fell into conversation means he started to talk with an attractive young lady in the next seat. I amused her for perhaps 20 minutes with a scattering of urbane bonds moths, then retired to the lavatory where I discovered that the pen had leaked and that my mouth, chin, tongue, teeth and gums were now a striking, scrub-resistant navy blue and would remain so for several days. So what happened? Let me just come to that slide, I'll explain. So while he was writing the thoughts, he also fell into conversation and he was sucking the end of his pen. And he amused her, he entertained her for 20 minutes. Can you imagine 20 long minutes? With a scattering of urbane bonds moths. Urbane means in a very courteous and refined manner. So when you're trying to impress someone, when you're trying to amuse someone, you will be very well behaved. You will choose words and you will use your language in a very refined manner, in a very courteous manner. Bonds moths means witty remarks. So he was trying to impress the young lady sitting beside him. And he was very happy. Oh, I have a very good conversation for long 20 minutes with a young lady. And he then retired to the lavatory. Retired to the lavatory means he went to use the washroom. And there he discovered that the pen that he was using to write down the important thoughts had leaked. And all his mouth, his chin, his tongue, his teeth and gums, they had become striking, scrub-resistant navy blue. So the pen has leaked and all his face was colored into dark navy blue. Scrub resistant means no matter how much you scrub it, no matter how much you try to remove that stain from your face, it's not gonna go. And you might have also experienced that the ink pens are easy to remove, but the ball pens, if they leave the stain, they are not going to go very easily. They remain there for several days. Okay, next slide. So you can see in this picture that the pen had leaked and all the things had become blue. So you will understand, I trust, when I tell you how much I ache to be suave. So the author is now telling that I hope you understand that I really try very hard to be suave. Suave means to be polite, to be sophisticated, to be gentle, to be well behaved. But no, he can't really become an organized person. He can't really become a disciplined person. He will create mess around him. He will create confusion. He will fall into accidents. Okay, let's continue reading. I would love, just once in my life, to rise from a dinner table without looking as if I have just experienced an extremely localized seismic event. So he's saying that I would love, just once in my life, at least once in my life, to get up from a dinner table without looking as if he has just experienced an extremely localized seismic event. These lines means that when he's having his dinner at the dinner table, and when he ends up having it, everything around gets so messy, so complex, and they just goes here and there, that people will think that this person or this place has just experienced extremely localized seismic event. Okay, seismic event here is generally an earthquake. So what happens when an earthquake comes? Everything from its place just goes away. They just scatter here and there. So when the author is also having dinner, he will appear as if the person has experienced the earthquake. As you can see in the picture, how everything is looking scattered. Everything is out of place. Everything is looking so messy. So this is how the author was. His personality was. Okay. He also wished to get in a car and close the door without leaving 14 inches of coat outside. Wear light colored trousers without discovering at the end of the day that I have at various times sat on chewing gum, ice cream, cough syrup and motor oil, but it is not to be. So the author is trying to say that he really wished to get into the car and close the door without leaving 14 inches of coat outside. So generally when you're in a hurry and you get inside a car and you just close the door, some of the piece of your clothing item, whatever you're wearing, will be left outside because you were absent-minded. You did not care to take it in first and then close the door. This might happen with us occasionally, very rare. But with author, it happens every single time. Every single time he closes the door, there is 14 inches of coat outside the gate. Outside the door of the car. He also wishes to wear light colored trouser pants without sitting on chewing gum, without sitting on ice cream, without sitting on motor oil and cough syrup. So whenever he wear light colored trousers, he will end up sitting on chewing gums. So this is really crazy that how can a person do this again and again. Okay. So you can see there's a chewing gum stuck onto a pant. He will either sit on ice cream, he will either sit on cough syrup or motor oil or altogether everything. But this is not to be. He is not going to be successful. He will just keep on, he will just keep on aching to be suave, but he will never be successful. Why? Because he is a messy person. He admits it that it is not possible for me. Ice cream stains on the jeans. Now, on planes, when the food is delivered, my wife says, "Take the lids off the food for daddy," or "Put your hoods up, children." Daddy is about to cut his meat. So, whenever the food is delivered on the plane, his wife will say, take the lids off the food for daddy. So, either you take the lids off for daddy, or or children, you should put your hoods up. Hoods are the cap generally which is attached to your jacket or a dress. So, you should wear your hoods. You should wear your cap. Okay, daddy is about to cut his meat. So you can imagine that how the family is well aware of the disasters that the daddy can create, the author can create. Okay, so the wife is already warning the children that please be careful. Your daddy is about to cut his meat. So, because she knows that he might just put everyone into a very embarrassing situation. He will do something which will embarrass the whole family. He will just create a messy situation around them. So this is a situation with him. Of course, this is only when I'm flying with my family. When I am on my own, I don't eat, drink, or lean over to tie my shoelaces. So he has taken an oath that whenever he is not traveling with his family, he will not eat. He will not drink. Neither will he lean forward to tie his shoelaces. Because his experiences are already so much, he has created history, by doing or making such incidents. He doesn't want to eat or drink or lean over because he wants to keep himself safe from embarrassments. He wants to behave as if he's a organized person, well-behaved person. Okay. And he never put a pen anywhere near my mouth. I just sit very, very quietly, sometimes on my hands, to keep them from flying out. So you can see in this picture how this person is sitting. He has kept his arms under his legs so that his arms are under his control. Because if you remember in the part 1, he said that my arms had become a prop from the horror films. He did not know where his arms were moving. He had no control over his arm. So in order to keep his arms in control, he will sit onto his arms so that it will not fly out. It will save him from embarrassments. It will save him from any more accidents. Okay? So these are the things that he do to keep himself safe and secure from doing any more accidents. That's really funny, isn't it? Unexpectedly and causing liquid mischief. It's not much fun, but it does at least cut down on the laundry bills. So he's saying that I keep my hands under my legs to stop myself from causing any kind of liquid mischief. Okay, from knocking soft drinks onto someone's lap. It is not much fun. It's not great fun to sit on your own arms, but at least it cuts down the laundry bills. Okay, you don't have to pay the laundry bills if your clothes are not dirty. I never did get my frequent flyer miles. By the way, I never do. I could not find the card in time. This has become a real frustration for me. So, that day also at the airport, he did not get his frequent flyer miles card, and he never gets it because he can't find the card in time. It is always here and there, he can't find in time. And this has become a cause of a real frustration for him. Okay. Everyone I know, everyone is forever flying off to Bali first class with their air miles. I never get to collect anything. I must fly 10,000 miles a year. Yet, I have accumulated only about 212 air miles, divided between 23 airlines. So basically how this works is, when you travel frequently with one airline, so just because you're using their airline again and again, you will be accumulating some kind of points. Air miles are basically the points that you get to collect. And this happened with other websites also, like you go to a shopping mall, so there also you collect some points and you can use those points later when you shop. So the same technique applies here. The more you use a flight, the more you get the points, the air miles. Okay, and from those air miles, you can also take complimentary travels or tickets to some places. So here he is saying that he know many people. Everyone I know, everyone is forever flying off to Bali, first class with their air miles. I never get to collect anything. I must fly 100,000 miles a year. Yet I have accumulated only about 212 air miles, divided between 23 airlines. So how this works is, the more you fly or more you use a particular airline, you get some kind of points in the form of air miles. Okay. So he's saying that I never get to collect air miles because he never get the card in time. And people, they are getting air miles, they're accumulating points, and they're able to fly to Bali, that too in first class. But he never gets such benefits because he's a unorganized person. He don't know how to find the car on time. He has taken more than 100,000 miles a year, but he has just accumulated 212 air miles. Air miles here is the points that he has accumulated because he was using the same airline again and again. And that too divided between 23 airlines. But he has taken much more flights than this. But he can't make any benefit out of it because he has never, found the card in time. This is because either I forget to ask for the air miles when I check in, or I remember to ask for them, but the airline then manages not to record them. Or the check-in clerk informs me that I am not entitled to them. So these are the three causes, three basic causes of why he was not able to collect the air miles. The first one is he either forget to ask for the air miles when he used to check in, or he remembered to ask for them, but the airline did not record them, or the check-in clerk informs him that he is not entitled to any of them. These are the three reasons why he was not able to collect the air miles. In January, on a flight to Australia, a flight for which I was going to get about 1,000,000,000 air miles, the clerk shook her head when I presented my card and told me I was not entitled to any. So he has taken a flight to Australia in January, and he knew that he will get about 1,000,000 air miles for this particular travel. But the clerk shook her head, which means that she said no to the air miles when he presented his card and told him that he was not entitled to any air miles. Why? The ticket is in the name of B. Bryson and the card is in the name of W. Bryson. So when he asked him that why can't I am entitled to air miles, she replied, the ticket that you are showing is in the name of B. Bryson, but the card that you are showing is in the name of W. Bryson. I explained to her the close and venerable relationship between Bill and William, but she would not have it. So the author really tried to explain her that, madam, Bill and William are almost same. It's a close connection between them. I can also write B. Bryson. I can also write W. Bryson. It does not change my name. But she, did not have it. She would not have it means she did not accept the logic given by the author. She denied to give him the air miles. So I did not get my air miles. And I won't be flying to Bali first class just yet. Perhaps just as well, really. I could never go that long without eating. So he's saying that finally he did not get his air miles, and because of which he will not be flying to Bali first class. But he later thinks that okay, it's fine. it's fine that I will not be going. And also he can't go. He can't go because he cannot go that long without eating. And he had mentioned that how he keeps his arms under his legs. He don't eat, he don't drink, he don't suck onto a pen. So he says that I can't travel that long without eating. It's okay. If I'm not going to Bali, that's okay, because I won't be able to control myself, and I won't be able to go hungry. I can't be able to take that long journey without eating anything. So here the chapter ends, and we come to know about many incidents where the author has created mess. He was a horror himself. His activities were horror to him. He did not, he tried really hard, to act sophisticatedly, to act in a well-behaved manner. But every time he failed, he could not be a well-behaved person. Okay, he had to create some kind of accidents, especially when he was traveling. So students, I hope all of you have enjoyed it, and I hope none of you are like author. You are a really good tourist. You are not an accidental tourist. And even if you are, you should try. You should try to take measures so that you don't create embarrassing situations around you for yourself and the person whom with you're traveling. You should try to practice on how to be a good and organized traveler. So I hope you have enjoyed this chapter. It was really funny, very humorous. Now, before ending the class, we will discuss the questions which is given in your NCERT book. So let's begin. The first question is, Bill Bryson says, I am, in short, easily confused. What examples has he given to justify this? The answer is, Bill Bryson says, I am, in short, easily confused. He gives some examples to justify the said statement. He would go looking for the lavatory in a cinema, for instance, and end up standing in an alley on the wrong side of a self-locking door. So this is the first example, first instance of how he is easily confused. He tells us that particular specialty was returning to hotel desks 2 or 3 times a day and were asking what his room number was. So again, this tells us that he was easily confused. Second question. What happens when the zip on his carry-on bag gives way? So I hope all of you remember, students. When the zip on his carry bag gave way, everything within fell on the ground and scattered all over. Newspaper cuttings, loose papers, tobacco packet, magazines, passport, English money and film spread over a large area. Okay, the third question. Why is his finger bleeding? You remember he had gashed his finger? Yes. And then what is his wife's reaction? This is the second part of the question. So, his finger is bleeding because he had gashed his finger on the zip. His wife did not show any anger or exasperation. Instead, she looked at him with an expression of wonder and said that, I can't believe you do this for a living. Fourth question. How does Bill Bryson end up in a crash position in the aircraft? Once, while he was traveling in an aeroplane, he leaned over to tie up his shoelaces. As soon as he leaned over for this purpose, someone in the seat ahead of him threw his seat back in full recline. Thus, the author ended up in a crash position. So I hope all of you remember then finally how he was able to free himself. Yes, he held someone else's leg who was sitting right beside him. Okay, the next question. Why are his teeth and gums navy blue? Once on an aeroplane, the author was writing important thoughts on his notebook while sucking thoughtfully on the end of his pen. The pen started to leak, and that was the reason why author's mouth, chin, tongue, teeth and gums were colored navy blue. So, and also you should know that this was a worst experience for the author on a plane. Okay, question number 6. Bill Bryson ached to be suave. Is he successful in his mission? List his unsuave ways. So all of you know that he was not successful. But let's see the answer. No, he is not successful in his mission to be suave. He does a lot of things in unsuave ways. He would rise from dinner tables, looking as if he has just experienced an extremely localized seismic event. Get in a car and close the door, leaving 14 inches of coat outside. Wear light-colored trousers, discovering at the end of the day that he has sat various times on chewing gum, ice cream, cough syrup, and motor oil. So these are the various incidents where he proved that he had acted in an unsuave manner. The 7th question. Why do you think Bill Bryson's wife says to the children, "Take the lids off the food for daddy"? The answer is, Bill Bryson's wife says these lines to the children because she was afraid that if Bill would take off the lids, he might create another clumsy and awkward situation. She knew that such incidents are quite common with her husband when he travels. Okay, the last question. What is the significance of the title? So students, you have to write this question on your own. Because I want all of you to think on it, that why the title, The Accidental Tourist, is justified. What is the significance of this title? So what you have understood in this chapter so far, and what is your understanding that what could have been a better title, or is this signified? So you write down this question, and I hope all of you have understood the chapter really well and you have also enjoyed it. Okay, students? So we will meet in the next class with a new chapter. Till then, bye and take care.